Let's start again, because you already told me. Chase, you already told me what property is here.
Distributive.
Distributive. Tyler, you told me the distributive property was multiplication. So let's do A, B, C, D. These are all problems that we should feel confident with. It is 2 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 5. Jordan, what did you get as a simplified version?
2x plus 10.
2x plus 10. You took your coefficient and you multiplied it to the terms on the interior of the parenthesis. Easy. B, we've got 3 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 4. We take our coefficient, we multiply it to the expression on the inside. Bradley, what'd you end up with?
3x plus 12.
3x plus 12. Still relatively easy. Letter C, we have 6 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 1. Cole, what'd you end up getting?
6x plus 6.
Good. Last but not least, we have D, and we're going to get what, Connor, for D? D is 7 multiplied by x minus 3. So what are we going to get for D?
7x minus 21.
Good. Okay. We have been doing distributing for quite some time. But then I put a challenge in front of you and said, okay, well, now we're actually going to start with the simplified form, and I want you to do the inverse. So, who feels confident they've got the answer for letter E? Jason, what do you get?
I got 5 multiplied by x plus 6.
5 multiplied by the quantity of x plus 6. Now, before, we said there was an inverse operation happening. What inverse operation was happening to go from this to this? Division. Okay. Where did my eraser go? There it is. So I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. And I'm going to walk you through my thought process, which is what I'm guessing that Jason did as well. What we're doing is factoring. Okay? I made the mistake of asking what F word are we doing earlier, and thank goodness that they were good kids. They're like, finding? I'm like, oh, phew. But we are factoring. We're looking for what's called the GCF. What is the GCF? I should see a lot of hands up. What is the GCF? Macy? Greatest common factor. My thought process will always go, I look for the smallest number in my expression. Is that smallest number divisible into everything? What do I mean by that? Is can I divide both evenly into themselves? 5 divided by 5 is 1x. 30 divided by 5 is 6. Do I need to write 1x? No. But Jason already told us that he had a 5 out in front. Because when we factor out, we're dividing the expression by 5. That number goes on the outside. We actually do on the inside of our parentheses the division. 5 divided by 5 is 1x. 30 divided by 5 is 6. So now that we've found the GCF for E, go back, take a look at F, G, and H. I want you to make sure that you have the GCF and you have factored completely. Not just found a factor, but found the greatest common factor.
I guess I got it. 3 because 5 is 4. 5. I think.
So are we having some problems with 8? So we just talked about how we're going to find degree on factoring. So should we try dividing by 15? So it's a small number. Yes. So divided by 15. So that works. Can we divide 20 by 15?
So if you had this,
Another number you just
in the back. It's listening to.
So you guys go ahead and try 5.
does that equal what we got under this?
You guys are ready for me to call in?
This?
So what number?
You have
We'll go into 5, 15, and 20. Let's come over here.
go ahead and write that out then.
4 has a 15.
Yep. And that helps there. Where?
Okay, so I see that going in there is 5.
You guys get it?
So what would you put in front of your brain? Well, this is just leave that. So I have to reduce the 5x. So now like, you know how you put 2x over here and you use like, because 2 times x is 2x, like 5x and then 5. But in here, it's 5 parentheses x is 0. So, and then you.
Okay, here we go.
Right here.
So I heard a lot of good things, and then I heard some things where nobody was talking whatsoever. Folks, this new curriculum requires you to actually be involved with your group, or at least with me. Levi, what did you do for letter F? What was your thought process?
So I multiplied 5 by x. Oh my god, 5x.
We're on letter F, bud. So the next one that I haven't done for you. So what did you do? What do you have?
I have 5 multiplied by x.
So you're looking at letter E.
Okay.
This is letter F.
I have 8 multiplied by x plus 1.
8 multiplied by x plus 1. Okay, well, how did you get that? What did you have to do?
I had to like split. I had to multiply. No,
Not multiply. What were we
I had
doing?
to divide 8x by 8.
Okay, so what Levi did is he said, okay, both of my numbers are the same. So there is no smaller number. He divided both the 8 and the 8 because they're divisible by itself. Any number is divisible by itself. So 8x, when I divide it by 8, leaves me with just 1x or x. 8 divided by 8 is 1. Still pretty easy. Okay, Luke, what about letter G? What was your thought process on it? I don't want what you got. I want your thought process first.
I had to divide 3x by 3
Okay, why did you choose 3?
because you have to divide, like, there's 3x.
Well, no, I see that it's 3x. Why did you choose 3, though, that we're dividing by? What did I say? Why did I choose 5 for letter E? Why did he choose 8 for letter F? What type of number is that? Oh, we're always going to start off by trying to do it with the smallest number. Well, 3 goes perfectly into both of them. So that number becomes my coefficient. 3 divided by 3 is 1x or just x. 12 divided by 3 is 4, but the sign in between is negative. Okay. Who should I call on? Who? Who do you think I should call on? Hi, DJ. DJ, what's my smallest number? 15. So, by my choice, I've said, hey, 15's my smallest number. 15 can absolutely be divided perfectly into 15. 20 divided by 15, is that going to give me a whole number? No. Uh-oh. So is that my greatest common factor? No. So now I have to go back to the drawing board. And this is where knowing factors is important. 15 times what gives me 15? 1. What other factors do I have for 15?
5.
And? 5 times 3. So now I go to the next biggest number, which is 5. So now I divide both by 5. Does 5 get divided perfectly into both of those?
Yeah.
Oh. So now my 5 becomes my coefficient. And then I'm left with 3x plus 4. Questions on how I got that? Are we starting to see greatest common factor? There will be another problem here, in about 7 seconds, where you'll have to find factors. So on that same front page, A, B, C, D, E. Go. So you are factoring out A, B, C, D, E.
So look, let's look at letter A together. What's the smallest number with 72T and 12? Okay, so that's why I'm gonna.
Folks,
go
let me
through
explain
letter A
something real quick. So voices off, eyes on me real quick.
Between 8.
Your homework, if you do, because I was a student too, and I was like, man, if I make it messy and kind of all over the place, my teacher won't know which ones I've done. If you don't do all of the homework, you don't get credit. Does everybody understand that? Okay, so that means if I only assigned you numbers 4 and number 5 and you didn't finish all of them, you do not get credit. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. Make sure you do the homework. Go ahead.
Okay,
So
so what number will go
Sure,
into
buddy.
8 and 72?
Okay.
Does 8 go into 72?
Where'd you get that number?
Yes.
Okay, so what's our coefficient going to be?
Don't say it's stupid.
So put down your 8 and your parentheses.
So, what we're trying to do, yeah, that's
And
not
what
right.
number
What we're trying to do is get this to go to this. So, what's the smallest number here? Can you divide 72 by 8?
Okay, go ahead.
DJ,
Look at
can you divide 72? Can you divide 72 by 8? If we go over here, 8, does it go into 72? No, you're not going to guess, you're going to look. 8, does it go into 72? How many times?
It's actually back. So what are you going to multiply
Okay, all you got to do is go 72, up, 9.
So what are you going to
So,
multiply 8 by to get 72?
8 times what would have given us 72? Okay, so we would have
What
originally had
number
9t
multiply 8 by
plus-
to get this 72?
Great one.
9 for 39 comes before this. It would, but I think there's a bigger number that you can use. I think there's a bigger number.
9, 12.
What did you just say? What did you say?
So,
Okay.
if we know that if we times 8 times 9, it would give us
What times
9t
is gonna give you
plus, and then what
8 times what?
what did we have to times 8 by to get 8? No, what did we have to times 8 by to get 8? What is 8 times what equals 8?
So this is gonna be a 9
No.
plus 1.
So, one, so we'd have 8 on the outside.
Letter C.
So go ahead. No, plus 1.
So 8
I'll put that in
what
parentheses.
number is gonna give you this 8?
And put 8 on the outside. So if you took 8 times 9, it would equal what?
Now, over here, what's your
72, right? And if we took 8 times 1, it would equal what? 8. And that would have given us this answer. Does that make sense?
gonna be?
Let's try the second one.
You are. Yes. Very good.
Pretty sure I did that earlier.
Okay.
Yeah, because you had 12 times Z, just give you 12Z. Okay.
72 divisible by 8.
Isn't
Did you check it yet?
12 times 12.
Why don't you check it?
That should be a 6. There you go.
72 divided by 8.
Hey, Jason.
It is divisible by 8.
Jason.
So we know 8 is divisible by 8. So we'll have 8 on the outside.
2 days ago that I signed.
Okay, so let's, you guys keep working it. You're doing very, very well. So let's look at this. Okay? Seriously, you too. Keep going. Okay?
So what we're trying to do is go from here to something that looks like this. So 8 times what would give us 72t?
5 times.
So I put 5.
So our coefficient is gonna be
9t would have given us 72. 8 times what would give us
the number that goes to 3 will be 11.
8 times 9 would be a 72T. 8 times 1 would be a 6. So that's the direction. So if you see how right here.
You have 1 more minute.
Okay, you can divide 144 by 3. Okay. So, we haven't been backwards. Which is okay. This number is going to be the coefficient.
Yeah, which one?
And then, what would you multiply 11 by to get 50?
So we already tried putting the smallest number in?
5
And just try 15.
So 144, that's just about 15.
So, did you try breaking
Plus.
15 into
plus what? So 11 times what is going to give you? 5A plus.
you do that and diagram it out?
Multiply 11 times 5, and you multiply 11 times 1, it's going to give you 11.
1.
So that would make it a bit difficult. So,
Which number should we try to divide? Okay, what's the smallest number? Did you do that? You divided 36 into both of them.
alright, so which ones of these?
Show me where.
What
Oh, no,
number?
he had. I thought you said 3. He said 3. You didn't try.
Where does the coefficient go?
You already tried
Or
fire?
inside the parentheses?
Yeah. Alright, you already tried 3. Why did you try 3 one more time?
When I say coefficient, I'm talking about this number right here that goes in front of the parentheses. Okay, so what number is the coefficient? Okay, so write down the 3. Put a parenthesis. Okay. What would you multiply 3 by? Yes.
You got 48. And then did you try 50? So did that work? Yeah, there you go.
Well, here we did.
Does that make sense? Alright, so make sure you guys all
I would love to get rid of it. It's gonna go with that lesson 3.
Okay, here we go. Voices up.
We don't need to try 3.
Yeah, you do.
For lesson
3.
And I'm going to try again. Thank you.
That homework is for lesson 3.
So here we go.
You need to put it back to lesson 3.
So the thought process is always to look at which number. Which number should we look at first? Jaden. The smallest number. So if I look at letter A, it's 72, what is it? Z? Plus 8. T? Plus 8. Which number am I going to see is my GCF? Which number do I want to check first, Tyler? 8. Are these numbers both divisible by 8?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this now becomes the coefficient. 72 divided by 8 is what? Bradley? 9. Say it. 9t plus 1. That is factoring. Letter B. We've got 55a plus 11. Macy, which number do I want to look at first? Because? What do we know about it's the smallest number? Both of these numbers are divisible by 11, so 11 goes out in front. That's my coefficient now. 55 divided by 11 is 5a plus 1. Nose trumpets, you got those first two. Okay. Letter C. This is the one that I don't know what the letter is. If the letter's wrong, don't worry about it. Just keep going with it. I got 36a plus 72. The ones that I saw, the biggest problem is I had people trying to do 12, 3, 6. Stop it. You have to use the smallest number first. Check it. If you just immediately skip over it because you're like, that's big, I don't want to divide it. That's lazy. Don't do that. 36 absolutely goes into both. That leaves me with 1, whatever the variable is, I have A. But 36 times what gives me 72? 2. Okay, letter D. I got 144Q minus 15. So now we come to a problem. 15 is my smallest number. 15 does not go into 144. So let's think about what I have. I've got 15 and 1. What's my other factor of 15? 3 and 5. So the next smallest number is 5. How do I know 5 is not divisible with 144? John?
Because it's not 10 or 5.
Yeah, because it does not end in the ones place with a 0 or a 5. That means we have to check 3. So I'm going to come off to this side. I'm going to divide 144 by 3. That gives me 4, 12, 24, 8. Aha! So it is. We should have 3 multiplied by the quantity of 48Q minus 5. Last but not least, we've got letter E. This one's easy. We have 3R plus 3S. Now the smallest number is 3. Oh, they're both 3's. So 3 comes on out. That's 1R. That's 1S. Rock that out. Boom. Questions on factoring out a GCF? Bless you. Okay. Moving on to, I want to say it's example 3, but I don't really know. Okay. Hey ho. The voices need to stop, please. So in example 2, it says, let the variables x and y stand for positive integers. Let 2x, 12y, 8 represent the area of the 3 regions in the rectangular array. So this is a rectangular array already finished off for you. What we don't know is what we multiplied to get that. So we already have it multiplied. So what do we need to do to find out how it got there? Divide, which means we're going to find the GCF. Fill in our 3 blanks. Go. 4 blanks. Counting. I'm all right with that.
All right. What numbers do you need to look at first? Let's look at these 3 numbers. So 2x, 12y, and what number do you know that will divide evenly into 12 and into 8? So 2. 1 would work, but the greatest would be 2. So what is going to be the coefficient? 2. Okay. So what number would you put right here? What number or letter?
Box. And that number is right and multiply it inside the box.
I'm like, not doing that. What are you going to multiply to get?
I know, I just can't.
It's the easiest thing in the world.
Times 2 times 8, it's an 8 divided by 2.
What would be divided by divide that by 2? Divide that by 2?
What? 2 times 1. What's it have to be? 2
Divide
times
that
1
by
equals
2.
2x. So 2 times 6
Oh my
12.
God.
2 times 6
Like when I zone out like this, I can't do it.
I know that right now I love the talking, but the fact that I hear conversations that my video is also picking up that has nothing to do with math, you think that's appropriate? No.
Let's see what you got.
So I think that's what you just asked. Let's see what you've got. So how did you get that? How do you get that?
How'd you
Explain
get
to
it?
them how you got that.
Alright guys, I just took
Yeah, so what you guys
2
do,
divided by 2. I just took everything divided by 2.
Uh-huh.
So 2 divided by
So why didn't you do everything divided by 8?
4. Because you start out with the smallest number.
yeah, right.
That's 6. 12 divided by 2, I got 6.
You're good, Mason.
Yeah, they all have to, right? Yeah, so then what you guys need to figure out is what I don't like it multiply to 2
It's only 2 questions.
What did you forget? Good job. Does that make sense? Okay, does that make sense? Yeah, alright.
Okay, so Bradley, you told me what operation had to happen. What did we need to do to go from this, which was our rectangular array, out to these numbers on the outside? We had to divide. You told me we were looking for the GCF, right? So which number do we start with? 2. Does 2 divide evenly into all of them? Mr. Strong? Let's stop. Good talk. So, you told me what? You told me what goes into all of them? 2. So now I have my coefficient that's getting multiplied into everything else. Because really, the rectangular array says 2 multiplied by something gives me 2x. 2 multiplied by something gives me 12y. We need to think of that way so that we can do this. So what's going to go on this line, Izzy? 2 multiplied by what gives me 2x? 1 what? Oh, 1x. 2 multiplied by what gives me 12y? 6y. And 2 multiplied by what gives me 8, Sean? 4. Very good. Questions on these? Relatively easy. Now, with this, you have 2 follow-up questions that you will have to write down. So, I want to make sure that the wording is the same so that I can actually help you on your homework. Here's what you're going to do for question A. Write the sum represented in the rectangular array. So there's question A. You're still doing it for this question. You're going to write this down for this question. So somewhere by example 2, write down that question. Then write an expression as the product of 2 factors. So you are only using, if I gave you nothing else besides this picture here, you are going to write the sum represented in the rectangular array, and then you are going to write an expression as the product of the 2 factors. Talk it over, find some keywords. You're writing a sum, you're writing a product.
We're still on example 2. These 2 questions are going with example 2. Yeah. Well, okay. Guys, we're still on example 2, okay? Those
We're
questions.
still using exactly what's up on the board.
Okay.
Like, that's it. You're using what's just been done for you.
I don't write it down in the B.
Yeah, you do have to write down everything.
This one.
No, just right here. Just on
Thanks so much, buddy.
okay.
Trying to figure out what we wrote down.
You write down A and B, but just for example 2, okay?
So, Levi, why don't you have this written down? Those are the 2 questions that you...
No. Okay, what is the word
You don't know what to
sum
write down.
mean?
Anything that I put on the board.
What is, so it's an addition. So
Anyway.
if we were going to add what's represented in the rectangular array, what would it look like? Inside here, what would that be?
Like add the two.
You're adding your terms, yeah.
So for letter A.
So what it would look like?
What do you think you would write for the sum?
I want you to write it out for this letter, because you're gonna see these questions on your homework, and you're gonna need to have an example to do them. Okay?
14 and 10.
So if you're finding the sum of these things, keep going, and I'll do that with you in a second. Okay?
What are you thinking?
No, you're gonna write.
Letter A.
Yes, yeah, you're correct. So how would you find, what is a sum? What operation does it tell us to use? Nope, keep coming.
Okay. We're not done yet. I'm going to give you more time. But there are two key words
So what
in
we're gonna
A
do with
and
these
B.
three numbers?
What is the main key word in letter A, Owen?
Plus 12, well, you can't, you're not gonna find it.
Sum.
You're gonna just write
This
it
is
down.
the key word here. What does the word sum mean, Trevor?
Plus.
The answer to what?
Okay. That's it,
Not quite.
okay.
Owen?
That's a s-
The answer to an addition problem. So Trevor, what is it? So in this problem, we're talking about adding. What's the key word in letter B? Luke? Product. What is the product? What is the product, Luke? What?
Oh, the answer to the multiplication.
The answer to a multiplication problem. So there should be some type of multiplication here. Now, let's think about the very first thing we did. We went from distributing to all addition, but then we did addition back to, okay, so each thing is leading into the next. So if I've shown you both ways, and now I'm asking you for a sum and for a product, maybe take a look at that first example to see what things are going to look like.
Do you remember what it numbers?
I couldn't even listen right.
No, you're not solving anything, you're not simplifying anything. It just says up to factors. Okay, so look. Seriously, I'm gonna turn this over. Was this your homework? Yeah. Okay, so look, you guys have this. You have right here, you have this term. And then you have three terms up here, and it looks like 1x, 6y,
Is that 4?
Okay? So go back.
if we multiply 2 times 1x, and multiply 2 times 6y, and multiply 2 times 4, what is the coefficient there? What is, what?
Okay, Trevor.
We went like this.
You're on, brother. So
Number we put
I
here.
want to say how proud of Trevor I am. Even though Trevor had no idea that this was the answer, Trevor had written off to the side
Right?
this. Because from what we had done previously, because each lesson builds on the other, he said 2x plus 12y plus 8. He had that written down. This was the homework that you just turned in. A rectangular array and then simplified. So Trevor wrote this down. And I said, hey Trevor, which one of those does it go to? And he went, I said, what? Read that to me. And he said, 2x plus 12y plus 8. And I said, Trevor, 2x plus 12y plus 8, which one is that? The sum. It says represented in the rectangular array. The sum represented in, keyword of in, the rectangular array is 2x plus 12y plus 8. Now write an expression as the product of two factors. What did we factor out? What did we factor out? What was that GCF that had to get divided out? Bless you. Say it. 2. What are we multiplying that 2 by? John?
1x,
1x.
6y.
What kind of 6y?
Positive 6y.
Positive 6y and
Positive 4.
positive 4. Those are my two answers. You'll have to do this on your homework. Okay, one more example to get through. So we are going down to example 3, where it talks about a miniature golf and arcade opened up in town. So, go to example 3 in your packet. As I read, possibly underline, circle, highlight keywords. A new miniature golf and arcade opened up in town. So we should be reading along. You should be physically looking at your packet with something in hand to underline, circle, or highlight keywords. So let's try again. A new miniature golf and arcade opened up in town. For convenient ordering, a play package is available to purchase. It includes 2 rounds of golf and 20 arcade tokens, plus $3 off the regular price. There is a group of 6 friends purchasing this package. Let G represent the cost of a round of golf, and let T represent the cost of the token. I'm going to stop there for now. So, before we go on, all you're going to do right now is I'm going to give you a minute to talk over with your teammates, your table mates, your friends, what the important information was. So in example 3, talk about the important information. So you should have things underlined.
Okay, so we have 2 rounds of golf, absolutely. Okay, so we should have 2 rounds of golf. How many arcade tokens? 20 arcade tokens, nice. Okay, and how much, what's the other number that we had to know? Okay, so I have a question for you. If it's $3 off, so there's 6 friends. Let's pause for a second. Let me ask you a question. If it's $3 off, what math operation are you using? Subtraction. Okay. So, and then there's 6 friends. Okay. All right.
Okay, so Miss Armstrong, you got this one?
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So I think you need a new voice.
So let's go over some of the things that were important. I heard a great conversation at this table, but I know there are really good conversations out there as well. What is one thing that's really important about this this problem? Information that they gave us. I heard lots of talking, so I know people are talking about it, right? Jordan. What? Okay, so we have 2 rounds of golf. Okay. We have 20 arcade tokens. And we have $3 off the price, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. What other information did we have? John?
Let G represent the cost of a round of golf.
Okay, so we're going to have G represents the round of golf. Okay. What else, Trevor?
T represents the cost of a token.
Okay, so T represents the cost of a token. I'd be getting this down if you don't already have this information written down. What other information do we need? Jaden?
Write 2 different expressions.
Okay, so hold on to that. You're right. We're gonna write that information down in just a second. Hold that thought. Tyler.
A group of 6 friends.
Yeah, they're gonna be 6 total people, right? A group of 6 friends. I have a question for you. When it says $3 off, what does off mean? Mason? Subtract. What math operation? That would have been a better question if I would have asked that. But yeah, so we know that $3 off is going to be we're subtracting there. Okay? Now, we've got all the information we need at this point, right?
And this would be a good thing to have written down. The stuff that Mrs. Armstrong's writing on the board would probably be good things to have written down on my paper.
Okay. What is the first thing the problem asks us to do?
Because we didn't even get to that part yet. So what is the first question?
What did you say, Jaden? You said, what does it tell us to do? Yeah, it wants us to write 2 different expressions. Woo! Okay, we've got to go back to knowing what an expression is. How are we going to put this together? We have 2 rounds of golf represented by G. We have 20 arcade tokens represented by T. We're taking $3 off and we have 6 people going. What's one way we could start writing this down? Trevor?
Probably G minus T.
Well, how many G's do we have, Trevor?
2.
Okay, so I'm going to start with 2G. Okay? How many, so we know what's next, Bradley?
Minus 20t.
Well, why are you subtracting? Because we're trying to find the total price right now. I agree with your 20t, but what operation should you use? Addition. So we're adding 20t, because t is the price of a token, we're getting 20. Okay? What's our next thing we're going to do? John?
Minus $3.
Minus $3. Okay? Tyler, how many people are going?
6.
6. So how many of these packages do we need? How could we represent that here? What could we do? We're going to multiply by 6.
Very
Nicely
good,
done.
Tyler.
So I'm going to put the parentheses here, and we'll put our 6 as the coefficient. Okay? That's one way to write this expression.
So now we need to label those parts though, because the next question says, explain how each expression describes the situation in a different way. So how are we going to label what Mrs. Armstrong has just written? What does the 6 stand for? What does the stuff in the parentheses stand for?
What is the 6? I'm going to call on people who haven't shared yet because we've got a whole bunch of hands going up to the same people. We've got it up here. What does 6 stand for? Luke? Yeah. People, friends, whatever, however we want to label that. Okay? What
What's
else?
in that parentheses? What is that whole thing in the parentheses stand for?
What did you say, Mason?
I think that was Levi.
Or was it Levi? What did you say? The package, right? The cost of the package.
Very good, Levi. So that's the cost of one package.
Okay. What's another way we could write this expression? We've had experience doing this for a couple weeks now. What could we do to this expression to come up with a different expression? It's going to look different. What property could we use? I heard somebody say it starts with a D. Mason? Distributive property, right? So we can multiply 6 times 2, which is going to give us 12G. We can multiply 6 times 20, which is going to give us 120T. We can multiply 6 times -3, which is going to give us -18. Okay?
how would we describe what we have now in this expression? In the parentheses, it was the cost of one package. Okay, so Jordan, what did you say? Yeah, so this is going to be the cost of 6 packages.
And we would really love it for you to copy this down.
Yeah, you are going to see a question like this on your homework. You're going to want to have an example. Okay? You can always go back to this video to help you with your homework. Okay? You can go to YouTube and type in Engaged New York, 7th grade, Module 3, Lesson 4. Okay? It'll take you over the same information, but you are going to have some homework tonight. It has to be done on a separate sheet of paper.
That's the key. It's getting done on a separate sheet of paper. So the homework is from the problem set, that last page. You are doing number 3. You're doing number 3, letters A, B, C. Number 4, A, B, C. Number 5, and number 6, C, and D. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 questions. You have about 5 or 6 minutes right now. I bet you can do number 3 and get it done. So you are not doing these on the same packet. You are doing these on a separate piece of paper because you turn them in.